Hey everybody, we're back for part two of Uniquely Victoria's The Juice Rise and Shine. Again, just to reiterate, The Juice Rise and Shine is on Kimaya's career and passion as a fashion designer or whatever the future may hold. So this is where we're going to start getting into more of, I say, the juice.
The juice.
Yes. Now, what is your ultimate dream or vision for you as a designer?
My ultimate dream as a designer will be to um, grow into a strong household name.
Household name. So
Yes.
you want to create your own house?
I do want to have my own fashion house
Okay.
um, and a brand that can withstand generations.
Ooh.
So that would be the ultimate dream for me as a fashion designer.
Okay. And is it always going to be Kimaya McPherson? Like that's your brand name or your house name, or will it
That would be
change?
my house name.
Okay.
And as time goes by, like, when you have a fashion house, there are different levels to fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with different levels to fashion, um, eventually I would love to have the household brand, but I'd
Mm-hmm.
also like to be able to have clothing in stores like,
Yes.
Bloomingdale's or whatever stores or department stores and things like that.
Yes.
In the time when the time is for that, I'd like my clothing to be in those stores as well.
Okay.
Obviously, it wouldn't be the couture things. It'll be more wearable pieces, everyday
Mm-hmm.
ready to wear garments.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'd love to go from the fashion house all the way to the retail stores.
Okay. So when you say that it's not like the ones that will be in department stores won't be couture, do your dresses right now that since you're in bridal and evening, are those couture?
Yes, couture simply just means made by hand. So
Yes.
yes, it means made by hand. So
Mm-hmm.
all of the detailing and beading and things like that, I do make from scratch. The patterns, the
Wow.
designs, fittings, all of that is made um, with these hands. So
That's amazing.
it's couture for now, and
Okay.
later on we will be able to expand.
So would you ever love to like show at Paris since they're known for couture? Yes.
Absolutely.
Is that one of your dreams too?
Um,
To get into one of
I would
those?
love the experience.
Okay.
I would not say that if it doesn't happen, I would be like, I would die or something. But um, I wouldn't mind the experience. I would not mind the experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
You see it in my future, girl.
I do actually. Not like that. I do see it. I was like, as soon as you said couture, I was like, ooh,
Yes.
something just inside me moved like, oh, maybe
Yeah.
Paris Fashion Week.
That would be amazing.
Because I know that's where it was. That's the house
Yes.
of couture.
Yes.
So, okay.
I would love that experience.
Okay. Okay. So I know we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier in part one. But what has your journey been like as a fashion designer? How have you navigated this industry?
Okay, so my journey as a fashion designer,
Mm-hmm.
um, it always didn't seem like a fashion designer's journey. Like when I finished school, I thought I was going to go to New York, back to New York, because I actually am from New York City. I lived in New York City actually.
Right.
I thought I was going to go to New York City or go to California or something like that, one of the major cities.
Yes.
And it just didn't happen that way.
Okay.
Life happened after school. After graduating college, life happened and it was a very challenging time for me.
Okay.
But I always held on to the belief that this was for me. Like I just held on to it. So my final collection that I did in college, while I was going through that difficult time,
Mm-hmm.
I would just take the pieces out and lay them out like in the room or wherever I was in hopes that one day I'll be able to have a fashion show or have the experience of dressing women. Like I just held on to that.
Yes.
So like I would hold on to it and I would lay these pieces out from the collection and I would pray and I would imagine
Mm-hmm.
and I would dream, right? And that's been my journey. And then one day I'm interviewing with you and you're calling me a fashion designer, you know?
You
So,
are a fashion designer.
so
I was on her runway show. I mean, I helped out with her runway show. She is a fashion designer.
yes.
So when did you decide to take that leap? Like with like no longer holding on to just, laying them out and actually diving in and doing it.
You know, that it was a journey. So my husband played a huge role in that.
Oh.
Believe it or not, my husband played a tremendous role in me accepting who I was as a designer.
Okay.
I remember when our first son was born,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I'm a mom. And that's one thing we as women do. We hide behind, when we become mothers,
Yeah.
a lot of times we hide behind, well, I'm a mom now. It is very hard when you're a mom, when you become a mom, your whole life changes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very easy to not have time for yourself.
That's true.
It's so easy, and it happens. It happens to all of us,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
But there's some part of you, and at some point, you have to say, I am an individual, and I am not just a mom. I am more than just a mom.
Yes.
Because when this baby grows up and leaves, you still be a mom, but then what else are you?
Right. You won't really have your own thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that is very easy to mask behind that. So one day, I think he saw me doing that.
Oh.
Yeah. I was so afraid to, because I had these beautiful dresses that I had started. Actually, no, we got married and I made my wedding dress.
You made your own?
I made my own wedding dress. And then that developed into a collection. So the collection of gold dresses that I have.
I love those.
From my wedding dress.
Okay.
And he would say to me, one time he just turned the corner and he looked at me and he said, what do you do? And I said to him, I'm a mom. I'm a mom. just like gibberish, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And he left and he came back and he said, what do you do? And I did the same thing. I'm a mom. I have two beautiful, and my husband. Like, I got so comfortable just talking about them all the time, and I love talking about them.
Right.
But what do you do? What do I do? That was so hard to come out of my mouth.
Wow.
So he kept grilling me. What do you do? And I would say, I'm a dressmaker.
You're
right?
A designer.
But he kept drilling me. He'll be like, what do you do?
Wow.
Just random. What do you do? Well, I make evening dresses. I'm a dressmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Kimaya, what do you do? Now he asked me, now anybody can ask me what I do. I'm a fashion designer. And I could say it comfortably, right? Because that's what I do. And from the repetition of that, like, it made me get more in depth of actually with what I'm doing.
And owning it.
Exactly.
That's amazing that you have your spouse.
Yes.
Like, I don't think a lot of people get to hear those great examples.
Yeah.
Of a spouse helping the other spouse.
Yes.
Like, own themselves or
Yeah.
what they do. That is beautiful.
Yeah, he's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
And he continues to help me every day.
Wow.
And, that's part of, like you said, partner helping to build. That's part of the journeys. You help build each other up.
Right.
So, yes, he's helped me, and he still is helping me tremendously on all the things that I can be.
That's beautiful that you have that. Really.
Yeah.
It is. Well, now she can officially say, and I'll say it for her, she's a fashion designer. Kimaya McPherson, fashion designer.
Yes.
That's okay. Wow. Yes. What a journey, though.
Yes.
And it's just amazing how you couldn't even say it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, like, you're comfortable. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's to the point where it's like the people around me, if I can't say it, they'll say it for me. They'll be like, she's a fashion designer. She did this, 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 this. the people around me would say. So
Like I said, you are a designer. I was at one of your shows. You are a fashion designer.
she's like, hey, you like I saw you. Yeah.
You are.
Thank you.
And a beautiful one at that.
Thank
So,
you.
yes. Now, you've stated before in our interview or the previous one that you are from the islands
Mhm.
and it's Trinidad and Tobago, but the Tobago side.
It's okay. You remember that?
I do. I remember. Have a good one. But no, I remember she described the difference to me because I did not know initially.
Yes.
So I was well educated. So with you, do they say that Tobagian? How do you say like
Tobagonian.
Tobagonian?
Yes.
Okay. Tobagonian.
Tobagonian.
So with that culture, how does that play into your designs, or does it at all?
Oh my goodness, it absolutely does. That little girl, that used to dance. We had the cultural dances. We had the big skirts. We would do the
Oh,
dances with the
yeah.
headpieces, like the head wraps. I know how to do a head wrap now. And I love playing with volume and texture and colors.
Yes.
And that's all a part of our culture.
Okay.
Like I do like to get into like the whole carnival story
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like the design, the level of creativity that goes into those costumes and the dynamics and the intelligence that goes into a lot of those costumes.
Yes.
I kind of like to play with it a little bit on my side too,
Yes. And you mean incorporate it into your designs?
incorporated into the designs as well, into my designs as well.
Okay.
And not everything would finish that way because I do believe there's a fine line between costuming and
Fashion design.
and being fashionable,
Yeah.
right?
No, I
In the sense
understand.
of being able to wear one of my pieces to an event or something like that, where it's not a costume.
Right.
Um, so there's a way to incorporate it without being too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, absolutely, my culture is all over. I think you can see it in some of my pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
The volume,
the
definitely.
volume and some of them I love playing around with color.
Yes.
I'm not afraid of color.
I'm not either.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yes.
So other designers that maybe are not from the islands or that don't put their cultural into their designs, would you say that's one of the big major aspects from your culture is the color?
No, I just like a lot of the in my designs, like a lot of the culture would be maybe part of the story,
Okay.
right? So I
Okay.
don't necessarily like bring in everything from the culture,
Mm-hmm.
but like it could be a part of the story,
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
helps to develop that final design or creation,
Okay.
right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be reflected in every single piece.
Yes.
Um, every piece wouldn't have a head wrap, but then there would be a time where you would see a full blown, island celebration going on a woman because that's my culture, and I
Right.
love to be able um to do that every once in a while, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that I want to do it on every design.
Okay. Okay. That
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. Now, we all know that fashion has this reputation of being cutthroat or extra competitive.
Okay.
Would you agree with that? And if you do agree with it, how have you kind of maneuvered that cutthroat competitiveness? If you don't agree with it, why not?
That's what they say.
Okay.
Um, I think it's cutthroat in the sense of you're in and out. You could be
Mm,
in now and then tomorrow you're not
right.
relevant.
Like Project Runway.
Either you're in or you're out. Like my Heidi Klum voice. Yes, very, you're
Yeah.
in one moment and then the next moment you're not.
Right.
Um, you have a height of a moment and then you're not.
Mm-hmm.
The key would be to continue evolving and growing, and
Okay.
as time evolves, so should you, right?
Right.
Without losing who you are as a designer.
Mm.
As far as it being cutthroat in the sense of like, what do you mean cutthroat? What's your definition of cutthroat? So that would be
Okay.
mine, but what would be yours?
Mine is, I think the perfect example is in New York. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people relate fashion to New York. And For me, cutthroat is like where you step on people to get to where you need to.
Ah, that's what you mean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, back to my journey in fashion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my journey in fashion, like I told you, with the whole dream and the whole praying, but
Right.
it also came with me preparing, and I prepared alone,
Mm.
right? So I prepared alone in the sense of I've always sewn, and I would try to get better at my sewing, right?
Okay.
So the seamstress that I was when I made this dress is not the seamstress that I am today.
Right.
The designer that I was in college
Mm-hmm.
is not the designer that I am today, and nor would she be the designer that I am tomorrow, right?
Right.
But that was all me doing that through trial and error over the years, and just having a passion for creating, right?
Right.
Um, there are still elements of the business that I do need to learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't the person that went to New York City. I didn't get that chance to go to New York City to do the internships and to go to the offices and to go work for the big designers. I didn't get that chance. My
Right.
journey was alone,
Right. Okay. More
right?
independent.
My journey was me trying to figure it out, and I'm still working to figuring out
Mm-hmm.
what is the next step and how to advance and to grow. So as far as like stepping over anyone's head
Mm-hmm.
or stepping on anyone's foot to get where I need to go, maybe the industry is like that. I've heard that it's like that.
Right.
But for me, my journey is not alone, but I'm alone.
I understand
You
what you
know?
mean.
So like yeah, I haven't experienced that, and for someone like me, um if you are good at what you do,
Mm-hmm.
you have your moment to shine. I'm not competing with you.
Mm-hmm.
Have your moment to shine, right?
Yeah.
Because if I'm supposed to shine, I would shine too,
That's so true.
right?
Mm-hmm.
My shining, my me being at the peak of my career should not interfere with you being at the peak of your career, especially in an industry of fashion, especially being in an industry of women's fashion. Now, I do believe that we have competitors,
Right.
but I do at the same time, it's like let the best man win, right?
Right.
For me, it's a bride. So whoever she chooses to work with, then she chooses to work with.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm a good fit for her, then we work together and we work well together. And if that's not the case, then I may be a little disappointed, but I'll also be happy for the person,
Right.
right? So it's like that's just my take on it and my personality.
I like it.
But if someone wants to be nasty in the fashion industry,
That's on them.
that's not my business.
I like your mindset. I think
I
it's
think
needed.
too many of us, exactly, too many of us are just especially with everything happening in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
We're always beating down on each other. Why?
Yes. I completely agree.
Like why?
And that's why I've created this was because I want to uplift women,
Yeah,
and not only that, but minority women,
yeah,
because I feel like they get beat down the most.
yeah. I don't need
So,
to beat my sister down
right.
or my brother down.
No.
I may feel a certain kind of way. Don't get me wrong, because I am human.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like I'm not going to go above and beyond to make sure you don't make it where you're supposed to be.
Yes. To
No,
try to destroy something. Yeah,
no,
I agree. I agree.
I wouldn't like it being done to me.
No. And plus that karma always comes back around.
Yeah.
So
I
I
don't know.
told you
Maybe
she
I
was
have the
grateful.
wrong. I don't know.
No,
But
your mindset is right. Don't even say you have the wrong. No.
I don't think I have the wrong mindset. But
No.
the culture in the industry has been that for so long.
Yes.
So, um, yeah, I just have a different perspective and different take on that. Like I love meeting other designers. It makes me happy because I'm like, this is real for me.
Yes.
It's like seeing it like it's like seeing another designer makes me, especially when they start sharing their story, because a lot of us have similar stories.
Yes. I
And
would
when they
agree.
start sharing the story and it's sharing the journey, it's like the light in you lights up a little bit more because you're like, oh my gosh, like
Mm-hmm. And it's always nice to have someone to relate to or talk to
yeah,
about fashion
yes,
and design because it can be lonely.
yes.
So,
It's a road less traveled.
right.
So yeah,
Now, did you go to school for fashion? You said you graduated. So, did you go to school for fashion
I
design?
did.
You did?
I did. I was actually in school for architecture in
Oh.
New York City. I went to City Tech. Shout out City Tech. I went to City Tech in New York.
Okay.
But then I came down to Florida and worked at Disney World.
Oh.
That's how I ended up here.
Okay.
And while I was there, I just thought to myself, like, I want to do something that I want to do,
Mhm.
something that I enjoy doing.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I went to school for fashion design and merchandising.
Oh.
Yeah.
So did you stop the architecture, or you actually got your degree in
No,
architecture
I stopped
and
because
then finished it
yes,
in
I did the
fashion?
Disney internship program where it's like in the middle of your college education.
Mhm.
They bring you down to Disney, you work in Disney, you get
Mhm.
college credit for it.
Okay.
But then in the midst of all of that, I just said, I really want to do something that I want to do. Maybe Disney played a huge role in that
Mhm.
because I was, I did custodial, I worked in the merchandising shops, I did all of those things, and I'm like, you know
Wow.
what? I want to do something that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't. I think I heard you mention before architecture. So I thought that's what you actually got your degree in,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't know that you ended up
I
switching to go to
switched.
fashion.
I
Okay.
switched to go to fashion school.
So since you've gotten your degree as a designer
Yeah.
in fashion and merchandising, would you say it's required for other fashion designers? Like if they wanted to start their own line, do you feel like it's necessary
No,
or
I don't
no?
think it's necessary to get a degree
Okay.
for fashion design or any creative
Field.
field. I think that it is necessary for you to study and learn your craft every day.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what college offers. It
Okay.
offers, that's my New York accent. My bad. It offers,
I love the New York accent.
I have all kinds of accent coming out, right?
Yeah.
It offers a concentration. College offers you a concentration so that you're able to have a direction of the things you need to know. Like sometimes you just need a syllabus,
Yeah.
right? And you need structure. College offers that.
Right.
But if
Right.
you're really serious about what you're doing, like
It's
Google
not.
and YouTube have everything. All of the
Okay.
resources you need. There are books out there. You can purchase the same books that the colleges are using. Maybe you can find a syllabus from a college or something like that and purchase the books, or even get the online resources. Now there are courses online where they offer you
That's true.
fashion expertise and direction if you want to be in those industries. So I don't think it's necessary at all.
Okay. That's a good distinction though, because some people are more structured and may need that in order for them to succeed. But some people may be more like a dive right in and just figure it out
And figure it
themselves.
out. Yeah.
So that's a good distinction
Yeah.
to portray. Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, you're in bridal and evening dresses.
Yes.
What made you choose that specific genre of fashion versus other
things?
yeah.
It was challenging. It was very challenging because I love creating, right? And I can create this. I was never simple. I have never been a simple creator. I wear simple clothing.
Yes.
But I've never been a simple creator. Like in college, I would get in trouble for, I wouldn't get in trouble, but my teacher would be like, learn to make the basics. I wanted to do the extra stuff. Right? So like the thing about bridal and evening wear, why I narrowed into that is because I got into bridal and evening wear is because one, I have the patience for it.
Okay.
And I love the detailing, and it's just so pretty, like I just love all the pretty things, the shiny things.
Yes.
I love the challenge of having to work with, I always like a challenge.
That's good.
I do, of having to work with large volumes of fabric.
Okay.
And I really just like to be a part of, as women, being a bride is such a special moment, and I love being a part of that.
So you said the first thing was patience. Why do you say it's patience for bridal or evening?
For any design.
That is true.
For any
the creation.
fashion designer.
Yeah.
You have to have patience.
You're absolutely right. The production or creating process is lengthy.
Exactly. People think like it's Amazon or something, people
Don't get me started on that.
Exactly. It's like, oh, let's just, it'll be ready by when? Like tomorrow? No.
Mm-mm.
Are you gonna sleep for me? Are you gonna take my cat naps? Are you gonna take one for me?
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Are you gonna take care of my kids for me? Like it's a lot, and it's not a overnight. It's not a quick thing.
Mm-mm.
It could be. Don't get me wrong. Like you can make something overnight, but it's
It
still
wouldn't
a
be
process.
decent. Yeah.
It's still a process.
Right.
We have a baby,
Yeah.
and he just touches everything, like everything, like just curious. So the other day he was playing with the mirror. There's a big mirror on the side there, and the mirror almost fell on him.
Oh no.
And he kept like hitting it. So I was so like Victoria, I don't speak in patois. I don't. You're not gonna, unless I'm joking.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, I turned around and I was like, Miss, and I do that.
So you were speaking on patience and how long it takes to make a dress. So how long for like clients or any future clients that may see this, how long does it take for you to actually do a bridal or an evening dress?
So it depends on the design.
Mm-hmm.
Typically for brides, I'd say anywhere from 6 months to a year for your dress.
Wow.
Start the process. Start the process of contacting your designer or me, hey, to get your custom dress made or your couture gown made.
Okay.
And that way you can start, finding fabrics and sourcing and measurements and things like that. Start the process early, so that you're not rushing in the end and you have time to do what you need to do.
Okay.
And then for evening wear,
Yes.
we take anywhere from 4 to 6 months
Okay.
to have that finished and ready for you.
Now, why so long for the evening wear?
It doesn't necessarily have to be, but we also have to consider that our team would have other brides, other clients that we may be working with at the time. So just to give enough time for your dress to be processed,
Yes.
I say 4 to 6 months would be
Okay.
enough time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any designers that you look up to or that give you inspiration in the industry?
I really like Christian Siriano.
Really? The Project
The Project Runway
winner.
Yes, winner. Yes. I really, really like him. I love his story of one. He's a modern day guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact that I saw his journey.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to see his journey and a lot of his journey.
Yes.
And him beginning from humble beginnings. And now to see the brand that he has established today,
Yes.
and how he has been a trailblazer in incorporating different people and different brands into his brand, being inclusive, designing for women of color, designing for plus size, and really just reshaping the fashion industry as a whole.
Ooh.
I love that he's done that.
That's amazing. I didn't even know that. I mean, I know of him as a designer, but I didn't know all the things that he's tried to do.
Yes.
Within the industry.
I think he's made tremendous impact. And I think that's the reason why I'm so drawn to him, is because I saw him on Project Runway as a little girl dreaming,
Right.
A lot of designers don't share their journey. It's a very quiet thing.
Yeah.
So being able to see his journey, or at least some of his journey or some of his story, it means a lot to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. So we're going to get back to your actual future clients.
Okay.
Now, so for any clients that are interested in working with you, what is your process like? Like, what type of experience do you try to provide your clients?
Okay. So I do work in my studio. So we're building out a team.
Yes.
And the process is we do a consultation, an initial consultation, just to see how we are with each other.
Okay.
I like to get to know my brides, or my other clients who need a special occasion dress.
Okay.
I like to know my clients, and then we decide, hey, are we going to work together or are we not going to work together? Like I like to give you that option,
Right.
or give myself the option too. Then from there, once they decide, we do an actual consultation
Okay.
where there's a design involved based on what you told me in your previous meeting. In our previous meeting, the inspirations that were sent in. There's a whole design process that goes into that actual consultation.
Okay.
So you're able to see the dress. I put in perspective the venue. You know, I put in perspective the way the aisle will look. So I bring together the entire story in the dress, right?
Oh, okay.
And I give options for your dress. So in the design process, you can it's a sketch, right? So we can always add or take away or enhance or things like that in the sketch. So we go through this whole journey of creating the experience for our brides.
Okay.
And then from there, it's really a process, right?
Right.
There's within the consultation, the second consultation, there's fabrics that are sourced, obviously, to create the dress that we are that we have sketched.
Right.
There are materials that are sourced. I let you know the different components of the dress and things like that.
Okay.
In that consultation, as well as the price.
Okay.
That it would be for the dress. And then from there, we go to measurements. You take your measurements. And during the pandemic, it has changed a lot.
Right.
So now we no longer have to meet in person to do measurements. We can do the measurements virtually on FaceTime.
You trust them to do
Well, I usually say bring someone.
Oh, okay.
And we do it FaceTime together.
Okay.
So I have my measuring tape. They would have their measuring tape. And we go through all of the measurements together.
Oh.
Yes.
That's good. Okay.
Yes. And then from there, I would send our client like a package or a box or something with all of the fabrications inside. Welcome, like a welcome letter to the experience.
Yes.
And then go ahead while that is being sent to them and they're selecting fabrics. Then I'm able to, or we are on our end, we're able to create the pattern and the sample for our brides.
Okay. And
then from the sample, they do the fittings. From the fittings, we do the second fitting if need be.
Okay.
And then the final fitting.
Oh,
so it's three
fittings.
It doesn't have to be.
Okay.
But it could be 3 or 4 fittings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a process.
It sounds like it.
It's definitely.
So when you actually get starting, like after all the measuring and you get your fabrics and you start actually making the dress, how do you still deal with them as like a bride?
Oh, it's easy. So they have access to me.
Do you communicate like through the whole time?
We communicate through the whole time.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Whenever I'm doing updates. So after the sample dress is made, it's shipped to them.
Yes.
Right? So it's shipped to them and I'm still able to see how it fits. If it's tight in a particular area, I'm able to adjust and things like that.
This is for if they're not local.
This is for if they're not local. But if they are local, it's always better to come in person.
Right.
But yeah, we communicate the whole way. I show pictures of the patterns being made. The fabrics when they arrive, I let the brides know, hey, and we try to keep it like where it's easy, an easy form of communicating.
Yes.
So it could be like, like WhatsApp or something easy.
Okay.
Yeah, or like Honeybook or something, just somewhere where it's easy for us to have that fluid relationship.
Yes.
When it's being built and if something needs to be changed, I'm like, hey, I think this is nice, but I think, like, what do you think? Or sometimes I like to surprise my brides.
Ooh, like what?
I love the brides that say, do whatever you want, I trust you. I love those brides.
That's funny. That's actually leading into one of my questions because I was going to ask, like, when you're designing something, do you only specifically do your vision for this actual client, or is it a mixture of both, or mainly what they want? So you're kind of getting into that.
That comes when in the initial consultation, the very first consultation, are we a good fit for each other, right? Is your personality going to mesh with mine?
Okay.
As a designer, right? what you're looking for in aesthetic, can I offer it to you? Right?
Okay.
Do we fit with each other?
Okay.
So a lot of times, I'm not the simple bride.
Right.
I'm not this. I'm not. I won't say I'm like over the. We're over the top elaborative bride. I won't say that we're there, but I know I'm not the dressmaker for the simple bride.
Okay. That's a good clarification.
You see that?
Yes.
Like, she has to have something. Right? There has to be like
some sort of
something, right?
Extravagant.
It doesn't have to be extravagant. I think it comes down to like, I want to say fashion, but I feel like I'll be contradicting what I said earlier. She has to have something like, that vibe
forward
of
thinking,
like,
maybe
that vibe of the woman that is like, she doesn't mind being sexy, right?
Oh, okay.
She doesn't mind being the center of attention.
Okay.
She doesn't mind being bold.
Okay.
She doesn't mind being regal, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a big old dress, right?
Yes.
It could be a simple silhouette,
yes.
right? But when she puts it on, she embodies all of those elements that aligns with my brand.
Okay.
Right? So we need to be able to mesh together.
Okay.
Because a lot of times what happens is when we don't mesh, then I'm not the designer for you. Then we end up in a situation where we're not, both parties.
Yes.
Or either parties are just not happy.
That's true.
And at the end of the day, you want to be happy and you want to feel beautiful and confident in your wedding dress.
Especially for a wedding.
Yeah.
Because that's your special moment.
Yeah.
So how do you get the inspiration when a client comes to you? Like, what inspires you for those designs?
One gift I would say, like when I worked in retail, I did work in retail in the past.
Oh, okay.
I think a gift that I've always had was to look at a person, analyze their personalities, and then decide what they would wear.
You're just leading into my next question.
Really?
My questions.
I've always had a gift for that.
Okay, perfect. So let's show it. So if I was your client, what kind of vision or inspiration comes to your mind? Okay, so with I will now that you let me just explain the process a little bit more. Oh, okay. Sorry. So, did I get it wrong? No, it's okay. I can see your dress. Okay. So with the process, right? So in the initial consultation, because I don't know you and you don't know me, I need to know what you like to some degree. And then from there, we mold it and we figure it out. Because a lot of times with brides, they have something in their mind, but then when they try on a dress or something like that, it's like, oh, that's not it. So I'm able to see that what it is, right? What it should be based on your body type, based on your height, based on your personality. Yes. I can see the silhouette of your dress. Okay. But sometimes there's a disconnect with your client. Exactly. So like your vision may be different from what they expect. Exactly. So I love to respect that. Okay. And then from there we can say, okay, well, I can make suggestions, right? In the sketches I can draw what they like, but then I can also draw what I envision. Okay. Just incorporating the elements from their inspiration. So you let them choose. Absolutely. I got you. We're doing this together. It's a process where we're doing it together. You never want it to be something where it's like, oh, this is my design anywhere. No, we do it together, right? Okay. But as far as for you, right? Yes. I do see you in a ball gown. A ball gown? I do see you in a ball gown. Hold on. But not the big poofy ball gown. I was about to say. I see you in the nice soft ball gowns. Okay. The sweetheart neckline that maybe comes off the shoulder. Ooh. Very bright white. I think that'd be pretty on. I see you in the bright white color. But I mean, we can go down that process another time. Yes. But that's what I see. Interesting. What do you see? I always saw something sleek. Really? Like more, not necessarily form fitting, but more straight. Like I don't see anything that. No, not the big poofy ball gown. No. Maybe like a chiffon type of ball gown where it gracefully and gently falls. That's more of what I see, not like the ball gown with the crinoline underneath or anything like that. Yeah, no, I don't. No. That's why I was like, I don't see it as a mermaid dress for myself. No, I don't see a mermaid. No. So, well, it sounds like we're on the same page. We're on the same page. When the time is the time, right? You know where to go. Oh yeah, most definitely. You know where to come. I do. Now, you as a designer, are you open to collaboration? I know that's a huge thing that's starting to start in the fashion industry, other designers that collaborate together. Are you a person that's open to that, or do you prefer solo?
I don't mind collaborating.
That's good.
I don't mind collaborating as long as we work well together.
So, have you done any collaborations with anybody?
Yes, I have.
Really?
I've done collaborations with other persons in the industry.
Okay.
Whether it be photographers or is that what you mean? Like photographers or other designers?
Other designers.
I have collaborated with other designers as long as we don't compete.
So, like, as long as you're not doing the same thing, or what
As
do you
long
mean
as we
compete?
don't compete in the sense of, if you mean collaboration in the sense of like you and I do something and it's like we create a baby, you know?
Yes,
A
yes.
clothing baby, you know?
I know what you
I
meant.
sound so crazy today. I'm so sorry.
No,
I just sound so
no.
crazy. But like, you know, you and I come from a fresh perspective
Right,
and we work on a project together,
right.
then I would love that opportunity.
Really?
You know, where it's a collaboration between you and I. It's not necessarily my aesthetic or your aesthetic, what you're doing,
Right.
but we come together and create something beautiful. I love that idea.
So, do you have any upcoming things going on, or any projects that are coming up for you as your brand?
So as far as upcoming things,
Mhm.
upcoming things would be the brand growing.
Mhm.
The brand growing and getting things in perspective and in its place
Mhm.
in preparation for those opportunities that will be presenting themselves in the future.
Right.
I do have some collaborations coming on, some exciting collaborations that will be happening later on this year.
Okay.
So I guess we'll be looking forward to those.
Yes.
And
I can't wait to hear about them.
yes, they're coming. Some beautiful, uplifting
Ooh.
collaborations, and also just some ideas that I have
Okay.
that I'd like to do before the year ends. Some ideas and some goals that I'd like to do before the year ends. So those things are
On
up and
its way.
coming. Yes.
Okay. Very nice. Well, I'll be excited, and I'm sure anyone who watches will be excited to see what you're about to do.
Yes.
So, I do that part. I wish the best
Thank you.
for you on those upcoming items.
Thank you.
So the last thing is, do you have any other words or any type of encouragement that you would like to close out with?
I think we can go back to the moms
The moms. Okay.
with dreams.
Okay. And what about the
And,
moms with the
and
dreams?
I would say, if you are a mom and you have dreams and there are things that you want to do,
Mhm.
just keep going.
Okay.
That's it. Don't hide behind the mask of just being a mom, because you're so much more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you are capable and you are worthy
Mm-hmm.
and you can do it.
Nice.
And that's my closing word.
Okay. This was such a beautiful interview, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you took the time out to interview for Uniquely Victoria. And I just really thank you. I hope a lot of people got a lot of inspiration or movement from this interview. And everybody stay tuned. I do have one more interview in the works. So stay tuned. But I hope you enjoyed this time with me and Kimaya. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Victoria.
No, thank you again. I appreciate it.